What's up? It is the podcast. According to sources, you can go to A2S Pod 1 on all of your social media platforms. You can also go to Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud to check out all previous shows. I am right here running the point tonight with my wingman running with me, the best trio in podcast land. Got my boy Chris Kaysen at C4 Dunk, my boy Brian Crawford at B_Craw4D. And tonight, you can go check out our previous show, which was our NBA show and our Chicago Bulls preview for the upcoming season. NBA season begins tomorrow night. Of course, the big matchup is out in Staples. Clippers, Lakers to get us jumped off late night tomorrow night. Bulls, they jump off against the Atlanta Hawks on Wednesday night. So we'll get into that. But we're going to give our predictions tonight. All right, Rookie of the Year, MVP, who we think is going to come out of the East, come out of the West. And then we got a special segment, first time the debut of Big Mad with BC tonight. Big Mad with BC. We'll see who's Big Mad with BC tonight. We're going to have it each and every episode because it's too good to pass up. It's great content. We had to snatch it. So let's go with breaking news right before we got on today. Lauri Markkanen did not come to an agreement on an extension with the Chicago Bulls. We briefly talked about it in our last podcast. Any surprise that this didn't get done?
Not really, not for me. No, because I think Lauri got a lot to prove. Not only to himself but also to the new front office. It's just not a situation where, obviously, teams are throwing money around before a guy like that who came in, with, basically a lot of high praise. He pretty much had like one good year. And then after that, it's appeared that he regressed some. So, when you got a new front office, you got a new GM, you got a whole new, staff, coaching staff and everything like that, there's conversations that's being had. And one of those is about, do we invest this money in Lauri Markkanen? So, he pretty much has a lot to prove, to at least the Chicago Bulls that he's worth that money. So, no, I'm not surprised. I actually think it was a good move.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good move. 3 years, he's been injured. He's dealt with injuries throughout those years. So we really haven't gotten a true sense of the type of player I think he is yet. When you look at him, there's nothing but potential there, but we haven't just seen a sustained level, of play from him from any point in time because he's dealt with these weird injuries just over the course of his career. So I also think it sets a good benchmark for the organization. We're not just going to give you, your 4 years, $72 million, based on, what we've seen in the past. Hey, it's up to you now. The onus is on you. Hey, show and prove. Basically, I think Jimmy Butler did this. I think Zach LaVine entered restricted free agency. So, it just sets the tone now. It's we're not just going to give you something. Go out there and do what you do.
Man, exciting times. I think most of us paid attention to preseason games more than we ever have with these short mini-series, truncated preseason because of the way everything broke down with the NBA playoff and the NBA bubble. So before we get to our predictions, was there anything that jumped out to you watching these preseason games, whether it was about the Chicago Bulls or any other team?
For me, it was Patrick Williams, just how good he is. I see a lot of that Kawhi talk being floated right now. I'm not going to necessarily go there. But, he looks like a solid pick at number 4. He also looks like a solid rookie. It's just a matter of, how he plays out the season. I think the other thing that surprised me was the effectiveness of the rookies without having a summer league. Just basically throwing them in there and letting them go and play. And, don't get me wrong, I like the summer league, but I think, this is probably a little bit better for guys coming in, because you're already in the pro system. You're already playing with pros. You're not playing with guys from overseas trying to make a roster and stuff like that, and you're around the main guys, the main superstars or what have you in your team. So I think a lot of that plays a significant part for me. So I thought that was interesting. That was probably the biggest shock. honestly don't think they need summer league. I just think let guys play in the preseason and let them rock.
Yo, that's interesting take. C4.
Yeah, I mean, one, I have to go. Pat looked very comfortable, just getting out there on the floor. I mean, you look at the difference between, say a guy like Chandler Hutchinson, who always kind of appears a little bit rushed, doesn't know what he wants to do at all times. If he doesn't have like a straight baseline to the rim, then you can kind of get him off his game. Pat pretty much played at his own speed, didn't get rushed, and just some of the minutes that I did see from him. Anything else that jumped out to me? I would just say how uncomfortable this Houston situation is going to be just until this resolved. It's tough, like those guys being out there, and James in training camp now with them, going to start the season with them, but pretty much you have it in the back of your head. This guy's not going to be with us, so it's going to be interesting to see how they start the season because seeing James, he's obviously not in the best of shape right now, but what type of start do they get off to with this in the back of their head? So that's one thing I'm going to be watching to start the season.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. What jumped out to me is how entertained I was with some of these miniseries in a preseason. Like, I've never watched a full preseason game. I can honestly say both the matchups with Ja and Trae Young, I was there for the entire game. As far as the starters playing, you get to the middle of the fourth quarter, bench players are coming in. Then I kind of faded and went to another game. But watching that matchup, I wanted to watch Dallas. I definitely wanted to watch Milwaukee, and then I think that third game, the Celtics game, when Brooklyn went in there, man, KD and Kyrie, we talked about in the last podcast. If they are healthy, the damage they can do, and you can see like, okay, they like playing with each other. They know how to play off of one another. And now for that team, in my opinion, it's just a matter of continuity. Teams come together like that. Usually they get off until a slower start than you expect. And then in the middle of the season, they just kind of pick it up, hit the ground running, and then they don't look back. So I anticipate that. As I said before, I don't think Brooklyn will be the number one seed. I look for Milwaukee, who's a regular season team, with the addition of Drew Holiday, to go ahead and win the most games in the East. I do think Boston will be right there. Toronto is always going to be around. I think Nick Nurse does an incredible job. I'm impressed by the development of Chris Boucher that I saw in the preseason. And I'm going to be honest. The top 4 picks, I really believe all of them are going to be really good players in the NBA from what I saw. Now, you talk about Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, Wiseman. I like him a lot. I think he's a perfect fit out there. And then Patrick Williams, like you said, BC. I think in this draft, which was talked about as being a top 3 pick. And then I'll go to number 5 because I think Isaac Okoro showed a lot in the preseason for the Cleveland Cavaliers, even though he's on a really bad team. So that's what jumped out to me, man. I think it's going to be an interesting season, entertaining season, and I'm looking forward to get everything jumped off tomorrow night. Let's go ahead and talk about the Eastern Conference. First of all, the Chicago Bulls make it into the play-in, and then let's get your favorite for the Eastern Conference coming out of the East.
Will they make the play-in? I don't know. That's tough. I haven't really seen like. I mean, the thing about the Bulls is, they got a new coach and they got pretty much new everything, everything else, but it's pretty much the exact same team, and it lacks a lot of talent. And so I think that's a huge concern. Doesn't really matter who's coaching.
So you've already come to a conclusion on guys like Laurie and Wendell?
I've been at on Laurie from the gate, and
okay.
Not, what I'm saying, I'm not very high on Wendell either. So, I think that's going to be tough. Billy Donovan to get, getting those guys to play. It's not like you don't have a Paul George, you don't have a a Westbrook, you don't have a Chris Paul, none of that. You got Kobe White, Lauri Markkanen, and a rookie. So I don't know if they can make the play-in, but I think my favorite in the East right now is probably Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the potential is there to make the play-in. Obviously, health is the most important. aspect with the Bulls. Wendell, Laurie going through bouts with injury, and then defensively is going to be a big issue for this team. Like Kobe and Zach could light it up. They can get high, get you some 30s and some 40s, but they're giving that up, on the other end, point guards and wing combinations that they're going to be facing. So how they improve overall defensively is going to be a big indicator on where they go. But the injury history, like just the past couple of years, that's also going to be telling. Like if they can stay healthy, they have a great shot at it. Just looking at some of the other teams that's towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference, and coming out, I think it's going to come down. I think once again to Milwaukee and now Brooklyn. If Brooklyn is healthy, if they stay healthy, then it's going to be very tough. Like for anybody, I think just with the amount of time, KD, whenever a superstar is like away from the game, you tend to forget how truly good they are. And I think that's the case with KD. Like you can, out of sight, out of mind, you can forget how lethal that dude is, but there's nobody in the league that wants to match up against that guy in the 7-game series. So I think it's going to come down to Brooklyn and Milwaukee.
Brooklyn and Milwaukee. I'm going to go ahead and say they're going to battle for the division crown and they're going to battle for the conference crown. I'm just going to go ahead and say Boston and Brooklyn. I think I've seen enough in preseason, even though it was only a few games. I've seen enough to think that KD is right at about 95% healthy. I think he's really close to the dude he used to be. And I think Kyrie, you know what? Forget all the sage, forget all the, not talking to the media. I just think Kyrie is focused on hooping. That's what I get out of it, man. I just want him to hoop. That's all, because the dude, when he's in his bag, that dude is crazy. He is crazy. I saw him put on a couple of moves against Boston. It's just like, okay, this is taking me back to like 2016 Kyrie. Like in his bag, just want to hoop, want to dominate. And, whether you want to call him a wingman or call him a Robin to Batman, which is KD, look, that dude can go off for 40 in a minute, any night. And when I get that Kyrie, I'm very interested in that dude, and I'm very interested in the Brooklyn Nets. So I go ahead and lock in right there. Also, man, we talked about the 6 through 10 in the West being very competitive. I think the 6 through 10 in the East maybe not as good, but I think it still will be competitive.
Depending on who you got in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you have teams like Atlanta coming up. I think Washington is going to be interested and will probably be in that race. The Bulls will probably be on the back end of that race of the 6 through 10. So even though they might not win as many games as the teams in the West, I still think it's going to be competitive to see who gets into the play-in and ultimately into the playoffs there in the Eastern Conference.
So where you got Miami, top 5?
Miami, for me, this is interesting, man, because I really think Miami gives Milwaukee problems. So if they have to face Miami first or second round, Milwaukee might be in trouble. And I think Boston made the move they made with Tristan Thompson specifically for Bam when they faced them in the playoffs. So their bigs were pick and pop guys, but they couldn't be physical enough to keep Bam off the boards, and Bam literally controlled the paint in that series. Literally controlled the paint. I mean, Tatum and Brown outplayed their guys in that series. Jimmy did his thing, but Bam Adebayo in that Celtics series was the difference. He was flat out the difference. So they go out and get Tristan Thompson to get some toughness. They try and control Bam in the series. I don't know if it's going to help. And honestly, I don't think anybody can really handle the tandem of KD and Kyrie. Like I said, if they're locked in a playoff series, I just don't see it. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say Miami's probably route 3. They're fighting with Toronto for 3-4. And even though Philly got Doc Rivers, I'm not buying it unless they get James Harden. If they find a way to get James Harden and swap him and have Embiid, maybe they have a chance. I still don't like any James Harden team in the playoff series. But then also, man, let me tell you this. The most interesting thing for me watching Philly, that dude Tyrese Maxey can hoop. Mm-hmm. He can hoop. Yeah, I like that young kid. So let's go to the Western Conference. Is it really today they came out with the tiers for the NBA teams on ESPN.com, and at the top tier alone was the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, are they head and shoulders above everybody else in the Western Conference?
Right now, yeah, I'll probably say so. I mean, they plucked Trez from the Clippers.
Yeah.
So that was a big time get. I mean, but then who else is in the conversation in the West? I mean, you obviously got Denver, you got Portland, but they get real thin after that. You know what I'm saying? And the Lakers coming off a championship run, they added Schroeder, which I think is a big move. Along with Trez. So yeah, I'm okay with them being like head and shoulders above everybody else in the West. I don't think that's something that's debatable or arguable. I think that's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you got championship experience now. You got AD, LeBron. You got the best player in the league on there. Like, there's no argument over there. I think, like, if you're talking about class in terms of talent and depth, Denver is up there. Just in terms of like the wings and what they can do offensively, but I think the Clippers regressed a little bit, just losing Trez there, and I think there'll probably be some other moves there just to try and like get some type of like culture of accountability there. So I'm not sure if Lou Williams be on the move at any point during the season, but yeah, the Lakers pretty much head and shoulders now, like above the rest of the league.
What's the one team that you're just really interested in following from each conference? Golden State. Well, we'll get to that. Golden State for you. C4. What's the team for you?
I would say Houston 1, Milwaukee 2. Just because the James Harden situation, I want to see what Houston can get back, for them. How long they play into this uncomfortable situation. Like, how long do you allow this to go on? Because it's going to be a distraction because reporters are going to ask about it. And then I think Milwaukee. I mean, Giannis just re-upped there for 5 years. What, two, whatever it was. So just seeing how they respond going this year, because like they've ran away with the East the last 2 years, but now I think you pretty much have to scale it back because now you're there for the end game now. So I want to see what adjustments they make throughout the season that will pay dividends in the playoffs, because you can't continue playing the same way like throughout the year and expect to see tangible results in the playoffs.
I think Russ getting back with Scott Brooks out in Washington, we'll see how he meshes with Bradley Beal is interesting. Also, I want to watch Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. That combination has been balling out in preseason, meshing very well. Dan Van Gundy, they go and get Steven Adams to help out with the defense. Eric Bledsoe came back for the last preseason game, and they look really good. They don't play as fast as they used to, and really Zion in the half court has looked really good because he's mostly been on the post. I haven't seen him hovering around the 3-point line like he was last year. So I think he can do damage, definitely get teams into the penalty. He just can't hit his free throws consistently. So if he can get up to about 70%.
Still, you get that some of the stuff that I've been seeing from them, getting him the ball while he's on the move.
Yeah.
There's nothing you're doing if he catches the ball and he's in like stride. It's basically you either try to foul him or whatever, but nobody's stopping that dude going to the rim.
Yeah, and then I'll be on Terry Rozier trade watch as well.
It's over with for him. He out of there.
And I would like to say we talked about it. We talked about it with that cat RP3 Natural when he was on with us, and talked about it last week as well, man. Cole Anthony, man, he's just an NBA player.
Yeah, he was drafted too low.
He was drafted too low. Man, the kid is really good. I know he's behind Markelle Fultz, but when he comes in, he's aggressive.
Nice little change of pace, God.
Man, absolutely nice change of pace. And his 3-point shot has been really consistent from what I've watched. So watching him and LaMelo compete against each other and go back and forth against each other, it was a joy to watch. All right, let's get your MVP, man. Who's going to be the MVP?
Ooh, that's tough.
Give me your MVP and then give me a sleeper.
I mean, it could go a lot of different ways, man. Like you could see the narrative shifting towards LeBron again. depending on how he plays, you might be able to see, you might see Anthony Davis in that same conversation. I think it's going to be hard for Anthony Davis to get an MVP as long as he's playing with LeBron, but whatever. And then you might get a good redemption story, with Kevin Durant. If they can get, Brooklyn to the top of the hill. I can't really say right now, man. Like without 75 games, without seeing anybody really do anything. But I'm probably, if I had to pick somebody, I think probably if he put up numbers, I think AD would get his first one.
All right.
Yeah,
You got a sleeper?
My sleeper. Kyrie, 6 foot,
right.
6 foot Kobe.
Me, I would say if he can get Dallas to like finish anywhere in the top 4, Luka. If I had a sleeper, I'm gonna go Joel Embiid.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, Luka is the odds-on favorite based upon Vegas. I do think LeBron and AD. I think they will have a couple of obstacles. The truncated offseason, which means I don't think they will really play as many minutes as they usually play early on in the season. But I do think LeBron would make a nice little run at it the second half of the season. Also, I think the Lakers are good enough to where they'll be blowing teams out. And Bron won't get a lot of fourth quarter minutes.
You know what? Now that
Luka, I think
Luka. I'm gonna go with Luka.
Yeah, Luka. I think being an odds-on favorite, it makes sense.
And they're ready to give it to him.
They're ready to give it to him. I think right now we might get some boredom with Giannis and his numbers.
Yeah.
It might get to that point like, all right, dude, you do that. Same thing with James Harden. All right, that's what you do. The Embiid pick is really because I think Doc will really unleash him and force him to get on that box and really bring out the best of him. So that would be a really good pick, especially if they get James Harden. We all know how BC feels about Ben Simmons. So, and I'm starting to lean that way too, man. I'm just waiting for him to bust out and expand this game, and it's not happening. I think KD can be a sleeper pick. But this is my ultra sleeper pick. And I know I'm going way out on a limb, and I'm by myself. My sleeper pick for MVP, or at least to be in the running, is Trae Young.
Yeah, you definitely got yourself on that one. Yeah.
I know I'm by myself.
I love Trae, but you got to look at it's going to be a not difficult year, but they got a lot more. You got a lot more guys on that team that need touches. You got John Collins, who didn't get his rookie extension picked up. He's going to want the ball. So, I mean, I don't think Trae's going to have the ball in his hand as much this year.
He could put up 25 and 15 and still wouldn't be in the conversation.
But this is my thing. He put up 29 to 10 last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, on a bad team. So let's say it drops down to him putting up 25 and he supplants LeBron because now you have Dennis Schroeder out in LA. So now he supplants LeBron as the top guy in the assists. And let's say he puts up 25 and like 13.
They're still not gonna win enough games for him.
This month, and Atlanta makes a jump in the East because they're in the weakest division in the East.
But the East got better. I
still think. Well, I take that back. The Central is the weakest division in the East. But it's really just Milwaukee.
For Trae Young to even have a chance, Atlanta got to finish top 3 in the East somewhere.
Yeah,
that's the caveat. They have to finish top 3, top 4.
That's not gonna happen.
And if they finish top 3, top 4 in the East, that's the only way he jumps in. But I just had to go against the grain and say something really outrageous, dude. Because we all sitting up here saying Luka, LeBron, But I think the Joel Embiid was a good one though. C4, that's a really good one.
Trae was a safe pick. It's just they just not gonna win enough games.
Yeah,
they're not gonna win enough games. I mean, it's not like this ain't gonna be no Russell Westbrook situation where he averaged a triple double and
no, not at all. Totally different dude. Totally different dude. Rookie of the year. We talked about this rookie class. I think they're very surprising. BC, you made a great point talking about how them being acclimated right into the preseason, right into camp, into the preseason might work better than actually playing summer league. So go ahead, give me your rookie of the year.
I have no idea. I ain't gonna even lie, because it could go like either way. You know what I'm saying? Like you could get, Patrick Williams could be rookie of the year, like with no problem. You got a guy like Anthony Edwards who is basically gonna get any shot he wants. In Minnesota, we still haven't seen James Wiseman play. Can he make a difference and an impact on their team? LaMelo's probably won't have a chance because I just don't think. I ain't gonna say that. I don't think he's gonna get the minutes, but it's a possibility. I honestly don't know. I couldn't even tell you. But if I had to take a pick, I'll probably go with Pat Williams, rookie of the year. I keep it like that.
Yeah, I'll probably go to. I mean, this mostly falls down to who has the ball in their hands a lot. So I think it's going to be between either LaMelo or the kid from Pistons, Killian Hayes. I think it's going to be between those two.
You think LaMelo you think he's gonna start at some point?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty obvious, man, because
Yeah.
we talked about this is a great point, and we'll move on right quick. We talked about Kobe White getting the ball last week. And when you watch Kobe play, even if he makes a good pass, it's still a second too late. Because he's not a natural point guard.
No,
He's a scorer.
in a score. Like
Yeah, so even if he makes the right play on the pick and roll, the pass is still a second too late. You watch LaMelo play, and they can be zoomed in on him dribbling, and he lets the ball go, and you have where is he throwing this? And all of a sudden, it's like he's like a quarterback. He throws the guy open. He sees it before the guy breaks open. And that's the type of stuff you get with him, man. And if he'll consistently improve that three-point shot, if he can make 2 to 3 per game, and then defensively, he's actually been decent. I expected him to get blown by and backdoored a lot. No, he's been locked in and giving effort. So if he's going to do that,
He's been playing pro ball too.
yeah.
without a doubt.
In pro ball, so that makes a big difference.
But that goes back to my statement. And I really think the top 5 picks of the NBA draft are going to eventually be really good NBA players. I'm shocked you just said your boy BC.
Cool.
You're not about to get a nod to Obi out there with Tibbs.
Come on, man. Look, Tibbs will have a heart attack coaching that team. They so bad. It's ridiculous.
The podcast, man.
He's going to actually do really good there because think about it, there's nobody on the team that can say anything back to him.
No,
At all.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're gonna really buy into that though. Like Tibbs is an acquired taste. And he's only been around veteran teams. And Boston's not a veteran team. The Bulls is a veteran team by the time he got there. He got a bunch of kids, man.
Yep.
And like that's gonna really like somebody gonna get driven crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's either gonna be him or them.
It ain't gonna be him.
It ain't gonna be him.
It ain't gonna be him.
So he got a challenging gig.
Who do you have for your surprise team and coach of the year?
A surprise team? Probably Atlanta.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay. With that. Yeah, I think they'll be on the radar a lot more this year, which is, just good for that franchise in that city. So yeah, I'll go.
What's going to be the big difference, or shall I say, the biggest attribute that Rondo's going to bring to Trae Young?
I would say looking at the game from a different point of view. I mean, I think he's going to pay dividends just for all the young guys on that team. I mean, Trae is obviously going to be the beneficiary, like majority more so than anybody else, but I think he's going to give Trae a different way to dissect the game as opposed to the way Trae Young already sees the floor. He's going to have a different understanding of seeing basically seeing what the other team is doing against him to limit what he's doing and how to make that make somebody else give somebody else an easier opportunity. So I think Rondo is going to play a huge hand just overall there, but more so with Trey. I think he just gives him a different way to look at the game.
And I think he can help him. I think he's gonna help him a lot defensively too. Rondo doesn't get. I mean, he doesn't really get enough credit for being a really great defensive guard on the perimeter. And Trey, even though he is an offensive player, just from what I've seen in that little, when they was playing Memphis, John Morant is John Morant. You know what I'm saying? But Trey tried to stay in front of him. He tried to play some defense on him. He was getting a little physical, when you got that Grayson Allen situation, when Grayson basically grabbed him. So I think Trey is going to pick it up on that end. I think Rondo is going to play a huge part in that.
I'm going to go ahead and cast my lot with Steve Nash for Coach of the Year. Who you guys have?
That's probably the best pick.
Yeah, that's probably the best pick.
It's either going to be him or Doc, depending on what Doc can get Philly to do.
Yeah, I think it's the best story, too. All right, so, man, one of the most Chicago videos I ever saw popped up on Twitter last week. So check this out, man. This is down there around you in Memphis, the Chris Vernon show. And Tony Allen is sometimes a special guest on with him. Tony Allen, started out at Julian High School, then transferred over to Farragut. He always talks, he calls himself first team all defense, great defender, longtime Memphis Grizzly. He was on the show, and they were talking about Taylor Horton Tucker and the success he's had in the preseason.
Yeah.
I had 33 the other day.
THT.
The talent kid.
Yeah, Taylor Horton Tucker.
I saw him in the G League one day. I'm give you a story. Saw him in the G League. And he killing. He had like 29 at halftime. So I'm like, he with us? The man looked at me and said, I don't even belong out here. He told me that. He said, man, I don't belong in no G League. I don't belong out here. Hit a three, next play now. Bam! Look dead at me. I said, that boy real. I said, he real. So to see him do this in the game right here, I saw him do that in the G League against the Hustle. No cap, I saw him.
He is different, man. He the last two
I
games.
I said something to him, and I think he went off for like 38. He had like 38 that game in the G League. So now seeing him do this right here, this kid been working on this game. You could tell who been working on their game. When they come back the next year and they just boom, they just doing stuff and shots, understanding, reading the game. They IQ done got better. They body done transformed.
You think he knew who you were?
Yeah, he got to know who I am. First team all defense.
He is 20 years old, T.A.
Yeah, he's 20.
There's a generation.
He went to Simeon High School, bro.
Oh, he from Chicago?
Yes.
Oh, okay. He know
he
the vibes.
He went to Derrick Rose High School.
He stared you down.
But he was looking at me like, boy, I'm from the crib. I'm from Chicago. You should know that. And I didn't know who he was until I looked at the brochure and it said, okay, Chicago, Illinois. And you from Chicago, my man. And then one of them type of things. And I saw him yesterday. I was definitely impressed. I was impressed.
Yo, that's the most Chicago video. First of all, Tony Allen still talks like he's from the Chi.
Yeah.
For reasons he hasn't been here for a long time. But look, he still talks like he's from the Chi. And when he's narrating and he's telling the story, and he gets to the point where Taylor Tucker's like, I shouldn't even be here. You can envision him saying that in a Chicago voice.
I mean, if you saw him in high school,
yeah,
exactly.
He was nasty in high school. It was ridiculous. So, I mean, I'm a little shocked that he's been as good as he is. But he's worked his way into the rotation. He's gonna be tough to deal with because his offensive game is solid, and his body on defense, he get real physical. He get up in you, and he was doing that since back at Simeon. So
yeah.
They got it. I mean, the Lakers got them one. He's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, you look at just offensively, what he does that makes you uncomfortable as a defender is he's going into you, like he's seeking out, physicality. There's only like a handful of guys in the league really that play like that. So he's got that going for him, long arms on defense. So man, I'm interested to see how they work him like in a rotation. But man, he's been nice since high school.
Yeah, I'm from the crib. You should know that.
You should know that.
You
In fact,
should know that.
was T.A. watching this game as like a scout or something?
No, he was down in Memphis, so they were playing the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
not the Memphis Grizzlies, but the Memphis G League team.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. He's just in attendance and just talking trash.
Yeah.
Just watching the game,
Just talking trash. To
just talking trash. Like he with us.
But the crazy part was like, do you think he know you? I'm like, of course. When I heard that question, I'm like, yeah, everybody was
of
talking.
course. Yeah.
Right.
What kind of question is that?
Man, that's Chicago Hoopers. We know everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
Chicago,
gonna get TA.
Chicago basketball might be one of the smallest worlds you can exist in. Like, because everybody's connected. Everybody's connected. All right. Time to debut our brand new segment right here. I'm going to have a nice open and everything for you, BC, in the future. But it's time for Big Mad with BC right here on the podcast, according to
Yeah.
I'm not, but see, that's the thing. I'm not mad. They mad at me.
That's why that's the whole purpose. That's the thing. So we're just gonna start out with a couple of dudes that were big mad with you. And tonight's topic, shall we say, is going to be centered around Steph Curry. So we got one guy that said, "How in the hell did you get your blue check mark?
Let's talk about that for a minute. Let me
Being basketball dumb."
let me start right there. First of all, if you come out the gate with that with me, you already lost. Over. Like we have no more conversation, no more argument. You done outed yourself as a lame. I'm finna talk to you like that. Now, the Steph Curry thing. I don't think I said anything wrong. I didn't slander the man. I didn't say that, that he couldn't play, anything like that. I said he has a lot to prove because you don't got that, you don't got that all-star whip around you and you the best player. So now you got to do something with it and you got to show me that you can do like what I've been saying for a long time. Can you do what Dame Lillard has done? And you got more talent around you right now that Dame has had in the last 5 years other than this year. That's all I said. I just basically set some expectations. People got mad at me. But it was funny. I don't know if y'all seen it today, but they had a GM poll, and they said, who would you want to take the last shot of the game? Guess who was number one? Dame.
Dame Dollar.
Guess who was number two? Steph. So don't get mad at me. Now you can go argue with argue with whoever GM or whatever. You don't have to get mad at me no more. But I said this already, so I don't know why they y'all in their feelings about that. Plus, like I said, I ain't even slander Steph. I ain't say nothing bad about him.
Oh, it got better. Your boy Ed Roger _fan said that CJ carried Dame all the way to the Western Conference Finals.
I think I just blocked him for being
Did you see C4's face?
Yeah.
What?
That's what I mean, but it goes back to like, are these guys really watching like basketball, or are they watching like little clips or these little videos that people put on where they just show the makes of the players, like little highlight reels? I don't think nobody's really watching the game. If you can say CJ carried Dame all up until, like, that makes no sense to me.
Well, but here's what makes even less sense, right? So when I'm having this conversation, to me, it's completely like just pretty much black and white. Yes, Steph Curry is very good, but there's no question that he has had a better team around him than Damian Lillard had. Like, that's not even an argument. Like, nobody should even debate that, right?
Now, didn't somebody come at you saying that Dame has had a better cast around him?
Well, somebody might have said that, but I think the thing that kept sticking out to me most, and this was being said by people like I'm looking at, like I done had basketball conversations with before. I'm like, how can you say this? Like, people are saying like CJ McCollum is equal to
Klay Thompson.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Draymond Green. Forget about Kevin Durant. Forget about that. Like, how is CJ equivalent to them two guys? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So for them to say, oh, well, when I say that Steph had a better team, well, Dame got CJ. Okay, that's still not enough. Because there's nobody else on that team who can account for what Draymond can do. I had somebody say, like, in that playoff series against 2019, Myers Leonard was just as effective as Draymond Green because they had the same stats. I'm like, really?
Big mad.
Like, am I talking
Big mad.
Like, am I talking to children right now? Like,
That's
like
why you
what's
take.
going
That's
on?
why I don't get all. That's why I don't get it.
Like that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It just does not click. But I'm telling you, man, they had CJ like he was all world. I'm like, he's not even an all-star. Well, he's an all-star caliber player. Well, like I said, that's like being almost famous. You either are or you ain't. Period, point blank. You either famous or you're not. And even if he was an all-star, guess what? Draymond been an all-star. Klay Thompson been an all-star. Klay finna go to the Hall of Fame. Draymond might go to the Hall of Fame. They both been Olympians, and they both won gold medals. CJ ain't did none of this. So I'm not saying that he's not a good player, but he ain't that.
Yeah.
And that's not an insult to nobody. That's just like C4 said, are y'all watching basketball or y'all just watching clips? Like, what's really?
Yeah, and I think they got upset because you said you thought Dame was the better all-around player.
I do. I think the one thing Steph does better than anybody is shoot the basketball. I think we can all agree on that, and I'm not going to ever take that away from him. But Dame shoots the ball pretty good too. You know, Dame to me is a better defensive player. They're just as good as passers, and I think Dame can carry the load more than Steph. So yeah, all around on both sides of the ball, I'm taking Dame. But that's just because I say Dame is better, don't mean that I don't like Steph.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what people missed. I think
Exactly,
they thought you were trying to take a dig at Steph, and that's totally not what you said. I think this goes back to a podcast we did over the summer where we were honest about Dame. If he had the surrounding cast, if he played next to KD, he would have a championship as well.
I think Golden State still wins those titles if they swapped out Dame and Steph, because the one thing that doesn't get talked about enough is like Dame is an Oakland dude. Like, you think he wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? He wouldn't try to put on for the Warriors and for the Bay and try to win them championships the same as Steph does. Yeah, come on, man. And Dame was an all-star in year 2. You know what I'm saying? He had to rise up, a little bit higher and faster and quicker than Steph. It took Steph Steph a little while to get to where he is now. But I still say this: Steph has probably had only about 3-year run since he's been in the league, however many years. Like, he's had them 3 years that basically elevated him up to this. But Dame been consistent his entire career.
Yeah, and there you have it, folks. That is why BC said the Golden State Warriors will be the team to watch for him in this NBA season, because he wants to see if Steph Curry, without Klay Thompson, can lead that team to the playoffs. Kelly Oubre was a good pickup for them, though.
Great pickup. And I think he's going to be solid for him, too. I mean, the boy ain't got no heart, but you know what I'm saying? He's still a good player. He ain't got no heart. That boy's soft. But, I mean, when he locked in, he's pretty good. He's pretty damn good. Oubre is a monster. Then, like I said, you work in Wiseman, you bring in Draymond Green, you got something. So, Steph got it easy, like super easy. All you got to do is get to the playoffs, maybe even win a series.
So would you say Steph still has a better supporting cast?
Yes. Well, what are you talking about right now?
Yeah, right now.
No, I think Dame got the better team right now.
Okay. C4, you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Without Klay there, it's a huge difference.
Yep. Shout out to E40 and Short giving us a nice verses.
I watched some of that.
Pumping out the Bay. I lost my mind when Sprinkle Me came on. It took me back. And Flavor in your ear. Let's get ready to get out of here, man. Flavor in your ear. What's been on your iPod or whatever listening device you've had going on?
I think I texted you and Bang the other day, man. I've been listening to a lot of this dude, Crime Apple. That's dope. And then Conway the Machine just dropped the deluxe from King to a God. He got 5 new songs on there, some heat. So, I keep it in the gutter.
Yeah, I'm gotta tap into that Conway like this week. But I haven't been listening to really anything like lately at all, like the last week and a half, really.
And man, I did my own verses. I don't know if you guys saw it. I got into a little spat on Twitter with my boy Russ Dorsey, who covers the Chicago Cubs. Me and him got into it with this guy because we pretty much said the Chicago versus. We were trying to come up with a Chicago versus to rep the shot like Short and E40 represented the Bay. And the only thing we could really come up with at the time was Common and Lupe. And we were like, man, Common will wash him like 15-5. We said it would be 15-5
I
Common.
didn't even say that dude's name around me. Lupe.
And this guy, younger guy, jumps in and was like, yo, y'all being disrespectful. Common wouldn't wash him like that, especially if Lupe went into his mixtape catalog. And we were just like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Common and Lupe for a versus?
I'm like, Common will wash that dude, man. It wouldn't even be close, in my opinion. But, man, is there a Chicago versus that could actually?
There's a couple of them. Shit, right off the bat, you could give me Bump J and G Count from LEP. I'll take that.
Now you going deep.
That one. You could give me. I mean, it ain't gonna never happen, but I would do a R. Kelly and a Twister.
I don't think Kels will be able to show up, but
I said it ain't gonna happen.
He's got some obligations.
I mean, unless they gonna, he got some legal issues to work out. Zoom ain't gonna even help him. And then you could probably go if you had to throw Common in there. Probably Common and that's tough. Because like he said, he shot down Nas. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to find somebody that.
I don't know who you can run up against Common. I mean, and if you find somebody, it wouldn't be nobody that people know. It'd be like Common and like Mickey Halstead or something. That's probably like the best matchup. Mm-hmm. But don't nobody really know Mickey like that. So it ain't gonna really hit. But I think that's probably the only dude that I could think of off the top of my head of like real like OG Chicago rappers. Common and Mickey would probably be the best best verses if you put
best verses
against somebody. Yeah.
Podcast according to sources, man. Thank you for joining us for our prediction show. You can go, as I said before, A2S Pod 1 on all your social media platforms. You can put in A2S Network or the podcast according to sources, and you can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify. We're out there. Check out our previous. You can go back and check out our NBA preview and Chicago Bulls preview. I think we'll probably get with you guys after we watch the first 10 to 15 games, pretty much see what the Bulls are talking about, talk about the impact of Billy Donovan, and I guess we'll see definitely if Kobe White can handle being the point guard, and hopefully DC can hold off upsetting somebody.
Trade him for Cole Anthony.
What'd you say?
Trade him for Cole Anthony.
I'm down with that.
Kobe for Cole?
Yeah.
I think y'all like Kobe as spouse, man.
C4. I can honestly say right now, I would consider it.
I wouldn't even consider it right now.
I would consider it if I want a point guard.
You really high on Kobe?
Yeah, I mean, like what is it? This is only the kid's second year. I mean, when you can score at this level, I know it's kind of not looked at as good anymore because like it's a scoring league basically now. But when you can score like that, like I think Cole is gonna have to find his way a little bit. He's gonna be good in transition there, but it's gonna be an adjustment. Yeah, I'm not ready to put Cole over Kobe just yet.
Well, I'll say this.
Forecasting, you think Kobe's gonna end up being a better player?
That's tough. It's still too early, but I mean, and also depends on what eventually Kobe is going to become. What Cole has at that point guard position, Kobe is like still learning. So it's two different types of players. Like where Kobe is good at now is things that Cole trying to improve on, and vice versa.
Well, I think Cole has a better IQ for the game, and I think his scoring ability will come if you just turn it loose. Like Cole can put it up. Like he can put the ball in the hole. You know what I'm saying? So you take that scoring ability. I think whatever Kobe White can score by next year, Cole could probably put that up himself. And you add that IQ to it, I would trade him in a minute because I think the IQ, the way you see the floor and the way you understand the game, is going to go way farther than Kobe White just going out there and just getting buckets. I think he's going to make a difference.
Yeah,
And he has no willingness to play defense whatsoever.
yeah. Instincts for me, C4. When I watch Cole Anthony, I see NBA pedigree. I see instincts for the game. Like, I know Cole can score. I know he's going to score. But I just think Cole Anthony eventually might bring a little bit more to the game. So would I be willing to move off of Cole to develop that? I would probably lean that way right now, but that's not me saying I don't like Kobe. I'm not like me.
You even got to see like how they develop too. I mean, we don't know what the
Absolutely.
especially in Orlando.
Crowded in Orlando for
Exactly.
Cole versus Kobe would fit right in there. You know, so like if you swap them, that'd be like great situations for both. Because the Bulls don't really have a point guard.
Yeah, and Markelle Fultz is getting better, but I don't know how much better he's really going to get.
Yeah,
But he's still like an interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, still trying because I mean I watched a little bit of him last season and like confidence is obviously a lot higher than it was in Philly, but you know, you still there's bits and pieces where you'll see like the kid who we thought he was going to be,
right.
but I don't know, just waiting for him to put it all together. I mean, because if you look physically, like if he can tap into like everything that's there physically, I mean that dude is. We're probably talking about him in the conversation, like with those, like just a tier below, like Trae Youngs and the John Morants.
Yeah, if he had become who we thought he could become in Philly, that would have taken so much pressure off of Ben Simmons.
I don't think it would. I don't think it was ever going to work.
No, from the standpoint of if he becomes the guy that's your point guard, that's a lead guard that can score, right, and that can make shots. Ben Simmons is still under the microscope because he's number 1 overall pick. But if Fultz had become the player he was supposed to become, they would have won the East.
No, but I look at it. Fultz has been like a scorer as well. So Ben would have still. You're taking the ball. One of those guys would have had to get used to playing without the ball in their hands.
But doesn't that force Ben to develop other things rather than
so.
the pond?
I don't think so.
He's been 5 years in the league. You still ain't got a jumper.
Yeah, I said Ben has always been used to being like a big guy who handles the ball. I don't think that changes. Like I don't think we'll ever see Ben like probably later towards the end of his career, like the later half, where we'll see him taking like spot up 3-point shooters. I don't think we're going to see him going off the dribble, raising up or pull up jumpers. I say put him in a post so he can get easier looks. Little turnaround jumpers, but I don't think he's ever going to be the type of player where you're just kicking it out, and he'll take those little kick outs and he'll take a shot every day in a while, but he's not comfortable doing it just yet.
BC, I thought you were going to say something.
Man, Ben Simmons trash, bro.
I'm not going to say he's trash. He's definitely not trash.
I think somebody came with you about that statement as well.
I mean, I know you 6'8", you rebound, you know, you get assists. I mean, all that's cool. You 6'8", you're supposed to be doing that. But when I say you trash, you've been 5 years in the NBA program. You still have not even tried to develop a jumper. And all you do is spend your life in the gym. You get paid to be in the gym to play basketball.
Right.
You have a jumper? Trash, fam. I can't go. Can't win with you. Just like James Harden. Can't win with him either.
Podcast.
You might be able in the right situation. I think you can win with Ben Simmons, but I just don't like the fact that he hasn't even attempted to like expand his game beyond what he already does.
Right.
That I can't expect.
I think just the translation from what you work on, putting it out there on the floor. I don't think people realize how difficult that is, because I'm pretty sure this guy spends the offseason taking pull-up shots, corner 3-pointers. But to actually translate what you're working on into like game speed and game action, that's a completely different level.
I don't think he's working on his game at all.
See, that goes back to what Tony Allen was saying in the clip about Taylor Horton Tucker. When you come back, you can tell who's been working on the game.
Yeah, I think Ben Simmons in the summertime, he puts on his jewelry, he travels, he rolling around with chicks and he lived that superstar basketball life. I don't think he working on his game like that. And you can see it. I don't believe it.
It's the podcast according to sources. There you have it, man. We'll get back to you. Kudos to Michael Jordan. I think I can officially say you got a pick right in the NBA draft.
He couldn't do anything wrong. Well, he could have, but
I kept hoping.
He could have
I
passed.
kept hoping and praying.
Yeah.
I kept hoping and praying he pulled a mic at the 3.
No, I'm glad that, I mean, just for that franchise, that city, like they actually have somebody that you could tune into, and now there'll be national recognition as well. So I'm just happy for like the city of Charlotte.
Maybe
All right.
get out that funk that he's been in.
Man.
The podcast according to sources, man. Check us out. Get in tune with us, man. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks when we talk about the beginning of the NBA season and have more Big Mad with BC. From my guys at D4 Dunk, my boy Brian Crawford at D_Crawford_D. Oh yeah, C4 man. Kudos to another great article, my brother.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Shake Sharp was a pleasure.
Follow everything, man. A great article on Shannon Sharp and how he stays in shape. Post football, it was a great article, man. Get in tune with everything C4 is doing over there with all of the outlets he's been writing for. And BC,
Chris the only dude in the game still getting merch, man. That's respect that.
he's posting every other week, right? Right.
Somebody else said that too. He's like, God damn. He's like, man, it's quarantine and you still getting packages.
Still getting packages. Boy, your FedEx and UPS man is cracking.
Hey, I'm just glad we got a system the way he's not just leaving them like some of these other delivery drivers out.
Sports probably would love to get you, boy.
Man, seriously. It's robbing season out here.
BC, you down there in Jacktown, man. Prime did his thing. National signing day, the early signing period. He did his thing, getting top players, 4 stars, 5 stars. His son transferred over from South Carolina. He got his other son that more than likely will be the starting quarterback for the program. So things are looking up. And also, see, you guys are getting your own reality show down there in Jacktown, man, coming on OWN Network.
I mean, that came with him.
Yeah.
He is on reality show, but ain't nobody gonna be able to recruit Prime. And it's gonna be tough. I'm talking about
that mouthpiece
not just in the SWAC, I'm talking about just in college football. It's gonna be hard to out-recruit that dude.
Especially in the South.
I mean, because like all of these kids, like their parents know who Deion Sanders is, even if they don't. You know what I'm saying? It's like your mamas and your daddy, yeah, you want to play for Deion. So yeah, ain't nobody gonna be able to recruit him, man. It's gonna be some impressive stuff. It's gonna be a pro factory, like a legit pro factory. All your scouts are gonna be right here.
It's gonna be a lot of college coaches, especially in the state of Mississippi, big mad with that cat Prime time.
It's only a matter of time before they get the line on them, and you know,
Handles coming out here and there.
Yeah, you know, trying to figure out what he's doing. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, man. I'll talk to you guys in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
All right, we out.